get anybody better than this group to tell you about pitching the business, and I'm really pleased that they're here to tell you, and I'm going to start off with Andy and Diane. I'm going to ask them how they prepare for a pitch.
Well, we have a whole rap here.
Okay, do your whole rap.
We have a whole
Absolutely.
rap. First of all, let me say, looking at you, you are all dressed perfectly to go into a network and pitch a series. Because the more casual you are in network, it shows that you're that so successful that you don't have to wear anything. So you guys look great for your pitch. First thing is, what do you need to do with a pitch? You have to create a universe, a world. Let's narrow it a little bit. And you have to populate it. It's a world, whether it's Tony Soprano's North Jersey, or Walter White's Albuquerque, or the Seattle of The Killing. You have to create a world. The people you are pitching to have to be able to see this world. And you have to populate this world. You have to populate it with characters who, through your description, they can see. They can see that they have the relationships and the conflicts and what they want will project into 5 seasons of storytelling. Because you also have to show the network that this is a series. It's not like a movie where it's a one-shot deal. But you have to be able to project it out and give it longevity.
And a pitch is it's its own art form. It's very different from writing. It is a performance. So you have to practice. I would say that is a big thing, is practice. Get your mouth working these words over before you go in that door, and know your material really well. We've been on both sides of the table at pitches, and when a writer comes in with a stack of notes, your heart just drops. Because what I do is I just start watching them as they move through their notes and wondering how many more pages we're going to be sitting through. So know it like an actor knows their work. Be off book.
And the people you're going to pitch to, it could be a very different size room. There could be anywhere from 2 execs to a dozen, depending on the nature of the project and whom you're partnered with. Know the names of the people you're pitching to. Know what their positions are. So that you're not pitching blind to. Know your audience is what I'm saying.
And when you're in a room, as Andy said, there can be 5 people, there can be 12 people. The room has its own dynamics, and you don't always know what they are. And sometimes when you're pitching, people don't give you back anything. They just sit there, and those are horrible situations. But try and keep comforting yourself with the thing that you don't know what's going on. We were in a pitch once, and I thought it was just the most awful thing I've ever been through, because we were getting nothing from the person we were pitching to. And it turned out that this person was in the midst of being fired. So it had nothing to do with us. And some people's personalities are just that way. I mean, the greatest rooms are when people give back to you and respond.
Yeah, there's an executive at CBS, Nina Tassler, she's way up there now, and she's always great to pitch to. Whenever you go into her, she gives you her full attention, she laughs, she cries. Even if she doesn't buy it, which she usually doesn't, at least you feel great when you leave that meeting. But you won't always have that experience, and you just have to soldier on through this experience.
There was one, by the way, guy that we pitched to in New York at CBS who fell asleep during the pitch.
Oh.
And I said I was terrified, I was mortified, I couldn't believe it, and I said to the agent when we left, he fell asleep, and he says, oh, he does that all the time.
You also, you know what else? You cannot control the environment of your pitch. We would always say, please try to not book the pitch Friday at 4 p.m. because nobody wants to be there, particularly the people you're pitching. And it's so easy for them to say no, and you leave. It's also, there's a horrible situation where you go into a room, you start your pitch, and you see immediately from their expression that they're not going to buy it. Because either they've already bought something like this, or it's something they would never program on their network. And then everybody has to kind of get through the next 30 minutes of horror.
But you cannot jump out the window. You have to sit there and do it. As you come into the room, you know, you probably will be nervous. I'm always nervous. And, you know, so there's always a little back and forth with everybody to begin with. And I use that time to look around the room and do little breathing exercises, you know, like 4 seconds, holding the breath, you know, but just to try and relax as I go into that. You want to be trying to engage with the people in the room, so do take them in, and that'll help with your nerves if you do that. My very first pitch, it was just an absolute disaster. I was in therapy at the time, and I said to my therapist, I'm kind of nervous about this. So he said, well, just tell the person that you're nervous. I said, okay. So I had it all practiced, and I was all ready, and I have my notes, and I said, so I'm kind of nervous. And the guy said, so just give me the notes then, and I'll read them. And I was like,
This is a big guy.
Yeah,
too.
this is a big guy. And then, no. And so then I started pitching, and his phone started ringing. And he just let it ring. And it would stop. And then he'd let it ring. And that went on through the entire pitch. And I thought,
Can I call my therapist?
yeah.
Thank you for that good advice.
But anyway, it was a weird thing. He did end up buying the thing. So, terrible things can happen in that room, but fun things can happen too.